There's lots of different sources of motivation for employees at work. At the sort of most basic level, it's the tasks that you're doing. And some tasks are just more fun than others. They're just more inherently enjoyable. And the research suggests that more enjoyable tasks, like intrinsically motivating tasks, are quite easy to do. And they're the type of tasks where we tend to perform very well on them because they're just so enjoyable, fun. You know, we can put a lot of energy and effort into it and it doesn't feel like work. But not all tasks can be fun. There's lots of tasks at work that are not fun, and in which case we need to find a reason to do them. So we need to sort of identify with the importance of doing that task. And so some tasks we can find, you know, the reason for that. We can say, oh, even though this is not so fun, it's really important for me to do. So we can internalize that goal. Sometimes we can't find those reasons to do tasks, and we might motivate ourselves in a way where we do it because we should do it, or to impress others that are watching us, or because there's some money involved or other types of rewards. And the research suggests that when we motivate ourselves in those ways, we don't put in as much energy, effort, or persistence on tasks. It's also easier for some people to, find the inherent enjoyment in tasks or identify the goal. Some people are just better self-regulators when it comes to work in that way. So certainly people bring with them to the workplace different motivational orientations, we might call it. And these people, we could describe them as more autonomous in their motivation, and so they tend to be able to get more involved in work in an intrinsic way or identify the goals, why it's important. People who identify generally with those more extrinsic reasons for doing work, like the money or out of a sense of obligation, that sort of motivation for those people tends not to go so well. They might not perform as well, and sometimes it can even make them feel burnt out from work. And then of course, beyond the task and the person, there's also the way the work is designed. So jobs that are designed in a way where there's a bit more variety, a chance to use different types of skills, where you have autonomy, you can make choices about how you go about doing it, where you get good feedback on the work, you know how you're going. These types of jobs are more motivating, and they tend to create or help employees be more intrinsically motivated in the work or identify the goals. So those factors can help aid better quality motivation towards the work. So when it comes to me and my own work and my motivation towards it, I'm tragic when it comes to needing to be intrinsically motivated. I find if I have a set of different tasks, I'm always drawn to the one that I'm finding more interesting, that's more fun, or that it's really important. So it is sometimes hard to do the marking or do those reviews or do some of the more laborious types of tasks. In terms of which type of motivation might be more sustainable for organisations, I would focus on trying to generate the good quality forms of motivation, so intrinsic motivation and identified motivation, because these types of motivations, employees can bring a lot of energy to work, persistence. It tends to be sort of the types of motivation where you can stick at it without becoming burnt out and exhausted. So if you focus only on performance management systems that highlight the extrinsic rewards or obligation or things like that, it's possibly going to drain your employees, make them feel a bit burnt out or less focused, and it's harder to engage with work. There's a lot leaders can do to embed good quality motivation in their organisation. I think the most important thing is how they design the work. So as a leader, you're constantly delegating tasks to employees and deciding how much latitude they have, how much they can decide how they go about doing the work, how much latitude they have and autonomy and things like that. It's also part of your role to determine how much feedback they get from the work. So there's a lot a leader can do in terms of how the work is designed so that it can be motivating. But a leader can also do a lot of coaching with employees to help craft the work in a way that suits them and that's right for them. So I think the other thing that leaders need to do is to be really careful about how performance is managed. So make sure in those conversations about performance management that there's not too much of a focus on how much work is being done or the outputs, but also on the quality of the work that's being done and the skill development of the employees to sort of help sustain this more good quality motivation so people can then go away and self-regulate themselves and identify with the goal themselves.